Hey, what's going on? This is Chuck Billy from Testament. You're listening to Sonic Perspective.
Hey everyone, this is Gonzo with Sonic Perspectives. I recently got to catch up with Chuck Billy of Testament while they were in Atlanta with Slayer, Lamb of God, and Anthrax. Teenage me was pretty freaking jealous of old fart me. Testament was one of my favorite bands when I was a kid, and they've only gotten better with time. Thankfully, Chuck was more than a gentleman, and he's got some pretty interesting things going on right now. Have a listen. You guys, like Testament, has been on the road most of the summer on Slayer's farewell tour, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be a pretty huge honor.
Oh, it's a killer tour, man. It's we got a lot of history with Slayer, so it's an honor to be here with them doing this, and I got to say, if this is truly their farewell, man, it's one hell of a farewell. As they're doing it right. The show is just like amazing. The band's playing better than ever. Just production, just everything about it. You can see in Tom's eyes how much fun he's having. So it's pretty awesome.
Now you guys go back a long way with with Slayer, don't y'all?
Yeah.
Like, how does it feel to see your old boy Paul back in the Slayer throne?
Oh, it's awesome. It's always good to see him there. It's I think he's out of everything because he has to deal with the flames and everything. He's cooking up there, man. But it's good to see him. He just, like I said, everybody in the band, you can see they're just enjoying it, soaking it in, because the fans are getting the best out of Slayer. That's for sure.
Cool. And what about you guys? I mean, how are the crowds reacting to you guys?
It's good. The last leg we were the opening band, and this one we're the second band up. So there's a lot of fans filling the seats, by the time we're on. So that's kind of nice.
Awesome. I didn't realize until Kerry King told me some time back that every drummer that's ever been in Slayer has also been in Testament.
Yeah. Everyone. John Deddy, Paul Bostaff, Dave Lombardo.
Yep.
Yeah. Kind of crazy, right?
So I guess you guys are closing the book on Brotherhood of the Snake with this tour then, right?
Yeah, this is it. We're gearing up. We're planning to book no more tours. We have like a show in Mexico in October, and the Decibel Beer Fest in December, and that's it. So from now till the time we beginning of next year, hopefully we have the record written and get in the studio by December, January. I mean, that's the goal, but, you just never know.
Okay. Yeah, I understood that the new record was already being worked on. Am I mistaken?
Well, the guys are writing, but we haven't got together. I mean, the thought was on the Slayer tour, we got so much time on our hands, maybe we can get some writing done out here, but there's just too much going on, too many people. So we're waiting until we get home, but I know Alex and all them guys have been, writing riffs. Alex has always got his recorder out here tracking stuff. So just haven't sat down with it yet, So me and Eric spoke like right when we get home, it's time just to go right at it.
Man, you guys have had such a busy year. I mean, like, not just with Testament and this massive Slayer tour, but I mean, there's also a new Dragon Lord coming out soon. Alex has 2 albums out this year. Are you guys getting any sleep at all?
Well, I mean, no, but that's good. I think, we're trying to keep busy. I mean, it's better to be busy than not busy. So, and, we've been doing it a long time, and you just don't know what the future holds. I mean, are we going to split up? So we're not going to be having, we just don't know. So you just enjoy it and just keep it going. And, now, of course, we all do this, for our livelihoods. We go home, nobody has a job. So, it's better to keep busy playing music.
No, I didn't realize that you guys were doing this and only this now.
Yeah.
That's got to be a great feeling.
Oh, it's a great feeling. When me and, Steve, like the Georgia came back, of course he was working, a job for over 25 years. And, told him one day, just, got a lot of touring, just maybe go out on an injury. And, so one day he called me and says, some pallets fell on me. I'm off work. I'm clear to go out for about 3 months. So we went out for the few months, and in the middle of it, he just they ended up getting a new boss, and they wouldn't give him time off. So we ended up saying, you know what, I'm done. And we said, dude, we're going to have plenty of work. We're all going to just keep working as much as we can. So we're all in the same boat. We got to work. So we've been really busy playing, which has been pretty awesome, because when we are home, nobody has to go back to their job. So it's, really enjoy the time at home. And it's almost like an early retirement, I guess, from the real world, because the music part of our world is not feel like a lot of work. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's actually fun. We enjoy it.
That's great. And that kind of gets back to something that I was going to ask you a little later, is one thing that I admire a lot about you and Eric is y'all's tenacity. I mean, even when metal had fallen completely out of favor, in the mid 90s, and it looked like the band was over, you guys kept going. And you guys continued releasing amazing material, and not, now you're reaping the rewards of all that hard work.
Yeah, we kept busy, and I think the beauty of it, and I give a lot to Eric, because Eric, I mean, he loves his black metal music and bands, and Testament, of course, would never be that, but he doesn't really listen to what's trending or what's current, or so he kind of stays in his own world. So it really helps when it comes to writing Testament songs, because he's not influenced a lot by what's happening now or what's popular or whatever. So I think that's always what's kind of kept Testament, and it's actually worked out for us that even so the fans say, you guys haven't sold out, you're still Testament, and thank you. And you kind of go, wow, cool. I attribute all that to Eric, because he's staying true to what he's done from the get-go.
And yet there was still, you guys have still experimented with different styles. I mean, you've experimented with death metal, and, and The Gathering came out of that, and that's one of my favorite albums of all time. It's such an incredible record.
Yeah, thank you.
So, you guys, Testament started dealing with social political topics pretty early on. With this new record that you guys are going to be working on, are we going to see a continuation of that?
I'm sure we will, but we don't know. I really vibe off the riff in that first, but I was really happy where we went with a lot of the lyrics on the last record, because I'd say from The Gathering up to the Dark Roots of Earth, there's a lot more personal and real things, that we've dealt with, where the last record, we kind of grabbed something that was cool that we can build off. And it was kind of like, the Brotherhood of the Snake was kind of like a secret society and aliens and stuff like that. So it was kind of wide open to get creative lyrically, and it was more fun. We had a little more fun writing the lyrics last record. So I'd like to keep that, because it was so fun, and there's still more room to not be so personal and just come up with some cool stories and imagery.
Well, awesome. Can you kind of walk us through the process of how Testament does its thing?
Well, a lot of it's me and Eric. I mean, in the old days when we all lived in the Bay Area, we used to always just go to the studio and just jam and have riffs and dive in and just kind of feel our way through it. Where now, Alex lives in New York, and Gene's in San Diego, and we're not that close. Eric's an hour away from me now. So we tend to have to use the internet, or I'll just drive to Eric's house, and me and him will kind of, jam out the skeleton of the song and lay it down and record it, and kind of just move on and come back to it. When we first start, we just trying to compile a bunch of ideas. And then sometimes if Alex brings a song, sometimes he'll bring a whole song finished, musically and lyrically. Or what he'll do is he'll listen to some of the stuff we've came up with and then make some suggestions, and sometimes we agree and sometimes we don't, but it is kind of a group. We're all open to everybody else having a voice in it.
Now, I heard that there was a little bit of a conflict back in the day with what directions you and Eric wanted to take versus Alex. You guys have obviously sorted everything out, but I'm kind of wondering about the nature of that compromise that you guys made.
Well, it was different. I mean, Alex, when he was in the band, he started the band 14, 15 years old. So all Alex knew for his teenage years was Testament, going on the road playing heavy metal. So the time he hit 22, 23 years old, he had other interests in music, and he really loved jazz and wanted to learn more styles than just heavy metal. So I don't know if it was that he was younger and just kind of was overwhelmed with just the metal and not having the opportunity to experiment with his talent, because he's a very talented guitar player, and work in other types of music. And so when he made the choice to leave the band, it was because he wanted to go into other musics. And I think the last record we did together, the Ritual record, was a little more compromised, because a lot of those songs we had written, and they were just a little bit more aggressive. And I think once we came back as a group and Alex put in his input, it smoothed it and polished it out a little more, and maybe just a little more than what we had thought it was going to be. And that's when it kind of felt compromised a little bit. I don't know if he was happy, and I don't know if we were happy. So I don't know if we both didn't really get the result we each wanted. So I think that's kind of where that crossroad met. And then at that point, Alex decided that was going to be the last record and move on. But then again, over the years, since he's been gone, the 12, 13, 14 years, something like that, he did a Lamb of God appearance on a record. And, I don't know, I never asked him, but I would think maybe he thought, wow, I got that band Testament, heavy metal band. That's all right. That I have some history in. So, when we did the reunion, which is actually when I was ill, was the first time in 2002 when they threw a benefit, when I had cancer.
Yeah, I remember that.
And they threw the benefit, and that was kind of the first time the original band ever came together, and we played a song that night at the show. That was kind of our introduction back to each other. And the very next day, we were recording, we were at the point to do some of the leads for First Strike Still Deadly record. Uh-huh. And we had asked Alex if he wanted to play on it, and he said, sure. So that kind of brought him back on a recording, our first recording back together. And that's all it really was. And then in 2005, I had Andre Verheusen, who does the Dynamo Festival, ask me if we can get the original Testament, because he got the original Anthrax to play his show. And we were like, yeah, that actually would be cool, because the Anthrax was like the first band to ever take us on tour, and they're getting their guys back together. That'd be neat if we could too. So it was just really for one show, and that one show turned into 10. And then next, 3 years went by, and then we decided, well, we survived 3 years getting along and doing what we do. And, what about writing a record? So that's when we, did the Dark Roots of Earth record together. And we thought it was a really good record for our first record together. And I don't know, I think from that record on, our confidence, just because we had the original guys, it was almost like we had a sense of getting the team back together, and it's like we're going to finish something we started together. And we kind of had that feeling. So just this sense of, confidence was back in our stage performance and in the writing, and it was a really good feeling. And we just kind of carried it on and kind of just, I don't know, in our own world, getting along still. And, especially as much time as we spend with each other now, living on a tour bus and traveling, getting along is a big key to a lot of that success,
There was such a long wait between The Gathering and Dark Roots, but you guys were really, really busy the whole time. Was there just not enough time to put a record out during those 9 years?
Well, I mean, after The Gathering 2000, and then I got sick and didn't do anything until 2002, I thought my career was over. So the 3 years went by where I kind of got the bug and I wanted to play, but we weren't really, full on touring band. Everybody kind of, well, Steve and myself and everybody, we were working and just weren't committed 100% to touring at that point, until the reunion. And then at that point's when we, that's when everything kind of kicked in and everybody said, we're going to just, let's go. And again, it all really kicked in once in '05, once we had the reunion. That's kind of when it all really started. And we all kind of said, you know what, we're going to give it 100% and we're going to be a full-time touring band again. And it's been a good ride since, for sure.
I recently found out that you had auditioned for Sepultura back when Max left the band. Yeah. So what if you'd been asked to join that band? Like, what would happen to Testament?
Oh, it wouldn't have, the history would have been different, for sure. Things happen for a reason. I'm a big believer in that. And I think on that, I auditioned the very last minute. And I think by the time I sent my tape in, they already made their decision. So, it worked out because, there wouldn't have been probably 3-4 great records by Testament.
Yeah.
if I would have been in Sepultura.
Yeah, you guys have been on an absolute roll ever since, since as far back as I've been paying attention anyway,
Yeah, again, I contribute that just to the sense of, I don't know, confidence, I guess, with the guys. Just we feel we're playing well. We're all performing at our best right now. And, we're not thinking of the business and everything else. We're kind of just letting it happen,
Yeah, I finally saw you guys for the third time about 2 or 3 years ago. It was when you guys were doing when you guys were just playing nothing but stuff from the first 4 albums. And
right.
And like the feeling that I got was that this must have been exactly how it felt back in the day. Yeah,
because when Alex was first back the first few years, he really only wanted to play the stuff he was on.
Uh-huh.
So we kind of put like the Gathering stuff kind of aside. We really didn't get to play much of that, or the demonic stuff, So, like I said, after 3 years of touring that old stuff, we finally said, okay, we got to play new stuff. I mean, current stuff, we are still, those records are very current and relevant for our career. So he learned them and he gave them a shot. And so now, we're playing, he's down for playing whatever we kind of choose, really. So I think we're all in a really good spot.
If I may, I'd like to talk to you a bit about your cultural heritage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know very many First Nations people in metal.
Oh, there's not a lot. Not really. Yeah. They're not in the metal field, that's for sure.
Yeah, so I guess what I'm wondering is did you get like any pushback from either community when you first started to do this? Because I mean, that was my experience. I'm Latino, and I got pushback from both sides when I started getting involved in this.
No, they're actually opposite. It's very supportive. Like when I go out onto the reservation, so I got a lot of family, cousins, and friends, and people I've seen growing up there that are all very supportive. We shot our Native Blood video on the reservation, and it was really cool to see the community come together because, they weren't the tightest community, but when we shot the video, they all showed up to our property and we're all there. And we had some Pomo dancers there doing some dances. So it was really like almost ceremonial, the whole shooting of the video. And, it really actually brought our tribe a little closer together, because they'd never seen full-on video production crew up on the reservation, and everybody got involved, the police department, fire department, just the community. We had some people from the community acting in the video. So It was pretty cool.
Huh. Yeah, and I understand that you've also gotten recognition from, like, not metal people.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for my native heritage, I was actually recognized on the state assembly floor, California. Just for what I've done as a Native American, kind of like in pop culture and the things I've done, and also was one of the first Native Americans to have a full-time display at the Hard Rock Casino. And also I was on a display at the what museum is it? It's they had a display there called Up Where We Belong, where it was Native Americans in pop culture, and that was at a museum in New York that actually traveled around.
Oh, cool!
And it started in the Smithsonian, and then it kind of went to some other museums. So that was pretty neat. I had friends calling me saying, "Yeah, I see your display here," and sending me pictures. So it was kind of nice getting recognized for my heritage.
What was your display like?
Well, the one there, it was called Up Where We Belong, and it had me and like Randy Castillo, who was in Sabbath.
Ozzy
was in Ozzy Osbourne, and some other natives. It was a really cool looking display. It had all our photos up there, and it was called Up Where We Belong, and it was just Native Americans in pop culture. And it was pretty neat, and I know they took it from the Smithsonian and took it to another museum, actually in New York City as well.
Mm-hmm. So, has anybody approached you to tell you that, how much of an inspiration you have been to them?
I do. I mean, especially I did last year. We played Window Rock, which is in Arizona, and it's the Navajo Nations. They have a big rodeo street fair music event, and we played it last year. And of course, they're all natives that were there.
Oh,
and they were going nuts. And the chief had me talk to the kids, and there's a lot of kids that are just need a mentor or someone to look up to, who made a name for themselves and made better for themselves and getting off the reservation. And it was really neat because there was a lot of young kids that were big fans and telling me how much I inspired them. And that was such a good feeling.
That's great. Can I ask what you talked to them about?
Well, just how you got to stick to it as far as music goes, believing in what you do. Like for me, my metal music, I've always believed in metal and stayed true to it. And I've never leaned away from that path of the direction of music I do. I haven't ever been a guy to jump on the bandwagon and bend trends and just being strong and believing in your culture and your beliefs and backing them up 100%. A lot of these kids, they don't leave the reservation. They're there, and there's no jobs and a lot going on, and that's all they know. So if they can read online or magazine or relate to me, man, that's awesome. It just gives them a little incentive that, there is something out there. Hey, he did it. We can do it too.
That's got to be a fantastic feeling.
Totally.
Yeah, I hear that you're something of an entrepreneur now too. Could you talk to us about your business ventures?
Yeah, I've got Lord Vapor Pens, which was a company started by a friend of ours in the Bay Area, I think about 2014. And they had approached me asking me if I would be interested in doing a signature series vaporizer. And I was like, sure, I was totally interested in. And I didn't know much about it at that time, but I think it was probably when it was kind of in its infancy stage of vaporizers, because battery life wasn't very good on the early vaporizers. Some of them would die out or they wouldn't last long. And but we put out 1,000 pieces and had success and got rid of them all. And then the Lord Vapor Company kind of let go of it. So he ended up selling the company. And then I was approached, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago by the new owner, who was interested still keeping the Chief line. but he wanted to expand it. So I said, yeah, of course, let's go for it. So we came up with 3 new products. We improved the weed vaporizer, which is called the War Drum.
Mm-hmm.
And the big improvement is we're having issues with the mouthpiece. That's where you put in the weed, and they were breaking. Mm. So the new unit, it's a magnetic top that comes off, glass piece, the magnetic. And also we found, we made this one with a interchangeable battery. So you could bring 2 or 3 spare batteries that are charged and just pop in a new battery if it dies out and you're not around power to recharge it. And it works really well. There's 5 levels, 3 different temperatures, and it's very inconspicuous. That was the first update of the old product. And then the new product is we decided to do a oil cartridge, which you can vape THC or CBD oils. And that unit is real neat. It looks like a Zippo lighter, basically. And the lid, which is like a Zippo, covers the cartridge. So it travels in your pocket. It's real inconspicuous, and it protects the cartridge from breaking. Most of them have just open a mouthpiece to the cartridge, which you can't really just throw that in your pocket, It's really inconspicuous, but the battery life on this one, it lasted me at least 10 days without having to recharge it. And I had some pretty constant use on it. So the battery life just on the new products these days are just incredible. And that one is called the Dreamcatcher. And then the third one is the Tomahawk, which is basically it's basically a pipe. It's a cone-shaped pipe that has a butane lighter that's built in it. So you can just recharge up the butane lighter on the end. And it's just a one hand. It's very inconspicuous. Most people, when you're smoking out of a pipe, have 2 hands, and it's pretty obvious what you're doing.
Yeah.
Where this isn't, it's just one hand, click the button, and then you're off and running. So those were the 3 devices, and they're definitely not novelties. This is real deal. It's quality product. And so far, people have been talking how much they've been enjoying them and how much they're kicking ass. So it's been a successful launch of the new Chief products. And then also Lord Vapor, they also decided to do a line of merchandise called the Chief of Thrash, which of course has the artwork from, all the devices. And we have some cool, like either, computer mouse pads to phone covers to T-shirts to hats, all kinds of just different cool things that you can pick up.
Cool. So what was your hand in developing these products?
My complaints were just from the last one was basically only on improving the battery and the mouthpieces. But the new products, he brought me them and I tested them out and really enjoyed the products and moved forward. And what we had the input was mostly the artwork. And on the Dreamcatcher, the oil cartridge, we decided to move the window where you can check the level of the cartridge. Mm-hmm. We put it on the side of it instead of in the front. That would block the artwork. So, I got to approve and sample and make sure I was 100% on with all the products.
Well, cool. I'm very happy that that's going really well for you. Congratulations.
Yeah, we're doing that. And then, I don't know if you know anything about cryptocurrency. Me and Eric are promoting a contest, with this privacy coin that's out right now.
I haven't heard anything about this. Could you give us a little detail?
If you go to you've heard of Bitcoin?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically a privacy coin. It's a new coin. It's basically the same thing. Whereas Bitcoin's been out, over 10 years, and this coin, privacy coin, has only been out 2 months. So, right now we're working with privacy promoting the coin. They do a 20-week promotion, and we're only in week 10 right now. So we got 10 more weeks of promoting the coin and trying to get people, to understand cryptocurrency. There's a lot. It's like stock, but it moves and changes prices much more drastically than stocks do. Mm-hmm. So there's people out there, I'm sure, day trading cryptocurrency, probably making a lot of money, but you got to really watch it and stay on it. So we're running this contest with Decibel Magazine, That's the Beer Fest in Wiltern Theater in December. And we're running it where people buy privacy coins. The most person who buys the most will win the contest, which is going to be 2 round-trip tickets, 2-night hotel stay for 2, and VIP treatment, and sample all the beers at the Beer Fest as a grand prize. And the second prize, we're giving away one of our Dark Roots of Earth backdrops, and the whole band's going to sign it. And third prize is we're giving up signatures of all our re-released vinyls and CDs that we just did with all the new cover art that we just reissued with Nuclear Blast. So it's a cool little contest. It'll be fun, but it's something new. It's such a new thing. It's been new to me. I've only been probably into the cryptocurrency about 4 months now, and I've learned a lot, and there's a lot to be learned. But we just launched this morning at 8 a.m. on testamentlegion.com the rules and where to go register. And we also have just a lot of information on what cryptocurrency is, what blockchain is. There's a lot of data there just for people to kind of get informed and see if it's something that interests them, because we believe, this privacy coin, what we believe and what I loved about it and got me interested was the developers who developed this coin also developed another coin that had a lot of success last year, which started under $1 and peaked out at $20 a coin. So that's why I love this privacy coin. It's the same developers. So we all have high hopes that if it does what the other coin did, it's great for us. Everybody's going to do pretty well. So we're just trying to share the info and share the opportunity, and people just really need to kind of read up and see if it's something that they're interested in. Whenever you're spending your money, people are pretty nervous, especially through the internet, So there's a lot of info to do your research on.
Man, blockchains and cryptocurrency. You really are from San Francisco, aren't you?
Yeah.
Cool. Chuck, thank you so much for your time. I do want to say one more thing before we get off the phone. On a more personal note, Alex's old roadie, Kyle Sable, was a friend of mine. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
He's a great friend. He still comes up on our memories. We all share it on our group text here on the road when it's, Kyle comes up. He's missed.
Yeah, he was a fun guy, but the last time that I hung out with him was the last time you guys were here in San Antonio. So I just wanted to give you my belated condolences on that.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Oh, Chuck
well,
Billy.
Cool. We'll be seeing you in Texas then on the Slayer run?
Next week.
Sweet.
Yep, that's the plan. All right. Chuck Billy, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Bye-bye.
You guys be safe out there.
All right, bye.
Chuck Billy, vaping entrepreneur, metal tech geek, and singer for Bay Area thrash metal giants Testament. Testament are on the road with Lamb of God and Anthrax as part of the Slayer Farewell Tour until the end of August, and they've got an off-night show on the 14th at the Gas Monkey Bar and Grill in Dallas. I do have to correct myself on this interview. I asked Chuck about the gap between The Gathering and Dark Roots of the Earth. I misspoke. I meant to say the Formation of Damnation, not Dark Roots of the Earth. Anyway, please remember to subscribe to us and like us on Facebook and Twitter. You can also subscribe to us on YouTube, and of course, check out our website, sonicperspectives.com. We've also got our Talking Perspective podcasts, which dropped not 1 but 2 episodes last week. Once again, this is Gonzo the Unpronounceable, and I'm going to take you out with the title track from Testament's most recent album. This is Brotherhood of the Snake.